What is up, everyone? And today's video is all about agility. Are closed agility drills beneficial? Well, if you look at Instagram and you look at the new school of thought across Instagram, across strength and conditioning coaches, you'll probably find like a lot of coaches have recently, not recently, but maybe in the last 3-4 years, turned against closed agility drills. Well, a lot of things that annoy me in the strength and conditioning world. But if there is one thing that annoys me, it's the agility posts and the entire thought around agility. So, what is a closed agility drill? Well, a closed agility drill is basically any type of drill or a change of direction drill that you make up where the outcome is already predetermined. So, a cone drill, like just running and then cutting to the one side, cutting to the right, and cutting to the left. These drills get a lot of hate. Why? Because they're predetermined and agility is not predetermined. Well, I have a few problems with that school of thought, and this is something that honestly it really annoys me when I see coaches dig at it, and it's sometimes the status quo. I've recently read this book, Think Like a Rocket Scientist. I really do recommend it. Well, this book recently spoke about the status quo and how the status quo is not trustworthy because the status quo is a lot of times just assumed to be right. And every time the status quo changes, people just inherently assume that this is the new thing and people just follow along, but they don't realize that that is why a lot of times these problems arise, that something that we assume to be correct is not correct until a lot of people start to blatantly point it out. And there's been a lot of things like that in the strength and conditioning world that people point out are blatantly stupid ideas. And with a little bit of critical thinking, you can honestly just separate it from a bad idea from a good idea, and a good school of thought and a bad school of thought. But for some reason, that just doesn't work in the strength and conditioning, or people just blindly follow narratives and how things work. And that is something that has happened with the closed agility drill thing. So basically, people believe that because a closed agility drill is predetermined, it has nothing to do with agility and it just doesn't train agility and you're wasting your time. Maybe there are some people that have approached this with more nuance, but I doubt that. Maybe they have said that the closed agility drills are good in moderation, but they cannot be your only training in agility. Well, with that, I do agree. But there are a lot of people that have those, those catchy posts where they say, well, this is not agility, and then you get like a cone drill and whatever. There are a lot of posts about agility that are terrible. Granted, I give this to those people. But you cannot at the same time promote angled sprinting and sprinting in a straight line, for example, or sprinting by yourself, and especially curve sprinting, and then at the same time knock agility drills. Curve sprinting is promoted a lot of times as good capacity work for your ankles if you play a type of sport that has change of direction or maybe speeds at different angles. Well, that is essentially also just another form of agility and basically avoiding defenders. That's just normally what you would call like a type of like a glide towards different sides. And you train that to train capacity of your ankles and stuff. Well, that's the exact same argument you can make for why people need closed agility drills. To get low on the ground, train your ankles in those extreme positions and train your hips to get low in those extreme positions. Train to get faster at those positions. How can you not see the same thing? And you know what the main funny thing about this sometimes is, that really just boils me up on the inside, is that people will go, or coaches will go and knock agility drills and then say, well, here's an alternative. Do some lateral jumps. Why do lateral jumps? Well, we want to condition the knees to produce force laterally. We want to produce, train the capacity of the ankles to produce force laterally. That is the same. You can say that for everything. But just for some reason that people have repeated enough that closed agility drills are useless, it's now believable that we can just all knock on it. Well, closed agility drills are great. And because agility is something that needs to be trained, you need a type of work where there is a part where there is no defender, but you're building capacity. It also helps if you want to train different patterns that you like. If you're someone, and this is also something that annoys me, it's always made by people with absolutely no capability of doing anything agile. And this is the thing, people who have actual attributes that make them agile on the field are people who know that the best way to practice sometimes or warm up is to really feel those patterns in some type of environment where there are no defenders. It's helpful. It's good for you. But people who have never been agile in life probably will never have experienced that. So that is also something that needs to be taken into account. And if you're going to say that you need to prepare yourself for speed, that's why you sprint alone. Because I can just say, well, if you play a sport, never do this straight line sprint ever in your life. So useless. I can't even think of a reason why you have to do it. Then that would be the same as saying, oh, why would you ever, because there are always defenders when you sprint in a game. So in rugby, there's always defenders when you need to sprint. So why would you go sprint alone? That has no sense. Yes, it does make sense because you want to get prepared for sprinting. You want to get faster at sprinting. You want to get faster at running in a straight line. That's the same for agility. You want to get faster while cutting. You want to get prepared for cutting or sidestepping. That is why closed agility drills are good and they work. What I need to admit is that I can also kind of see why closed agility drills get knocked on so many times. And I think a big reason is how they are done and how they are promoted on social media. Like commonly, I'm not knocking this guy. I just need an example. And this guy was like the first one who could find. It wasn't really hard to find one, but this is the first one. This is commonly how like closed agility drills are done and portrayed. If you're going to do them like this, they are useless. Let's be honest. They do nothing for you. This is not how agility looks. If it doesn't look like the real thing, it's not training the real thing. Agility is not a side shuffle. That is something that people, oh my gosh, like I cannot think that you need to, this is why there is such a thing as actually being able to do something before you can coach it. You need to be able to be good at agility because then you would know how low you need to be. Some of my best ever sides have been when I've been at high speeds and I've been able to get really low in a low position and then cut off quickly. People who are good at agility are able to get really low. That's why a lot of shorter athletes are really good at changing direction because they are already really low. And that is something that you honestly do not see in these types of drills. This is an example where I'm kind of mimicking but teasing at how people do it. And this is how it should look, like this. What do you see? You see a height drop. You see speed. You see a hard push off. You see an extreme angle of the body, not the hips and the torso and everything staying in one straight line. That is not how it works. You see an extreme angle of the body, almost like an entire angle that hits kind of this angle. That is how you go into the ground and then step and absorb the force and then redirect it. Your hips, your ankles, your knees, everything needs to be working. And that is why closed drills are important. There are a lot of good graders out there that post amazing closed drill cones. And also a lot of times it's good for free play. I think it's really good for athletes if you just play some cones, have some ideas of what you want to do, and get into your athlete mindset. Feel what you feel. Feel stuff that have been good on the field and have worked on the field. Practice them, feel them, and then mix it with a good amount of play against other players. Yes, you need both. I'm not saying that people are wrong when they say that. I'm saying people are wrong when they say that that's all you need. That's all I really had for the video. I just wanted to rant a bit about that. I made a small post on Instagram about this as well, but this is the longer one. So I'd just like to add that I do include a lot of closed agility drills in my Total Athlete program, which is still for sale. This is a 10-week program that you can purchase. It includes everything from conditioning, strength, hypertrophy, speed, and agility. So if you want to purchase that, just go on my website and you can purchase it through there.